Yeah. It's another episode of Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM. We're also on iHeart. This is our first live stream in a long time, so hopefully somebody jump on online. Whether you go to iHeart Radio and click live, or you go to the Facebook Live or the IG Live, or you just go to YouTube Live. We got a lot of live today. So today is a very special episode. We're talking all about travel. And as you know, on Unapologetic, we talk about money, mindset, and all that contributes to wealth. Did you know that Black Americans took 184 million domestic trips in 2023 and spent an estimate of $445 billion. That's a massive showing of our presence and our power in the travel industry. Nearly 76% of Black travelers are already planning another domestic trip in 2025. But here's the kicker or the contrast. Only 34% of Black Americans currently hold a valid U.S. passport compared to nearly 50% of the general adult population. That means international travel is still a frontier, one that many of us don't necessarily take a hold of. And while 80% of those domestic trips are still road trips, currently an average of 247 miles, more and more are growing globally. So let's talk about retirement, all right? Because this is actually how this came up for me. I recently had the opportunity to go visit my sister in London. And during our ride on the quote unquote tube, which is their subway, I looked up the retirement or where, Black and brown folks are going to retire. And this is what I found. So the rise in international relocation among Black Americans is driven by culture, affordability, and peace of mind. So let me say it again. It is literally fueled by culture, affordability, and peace of mind. When my wife and I looked at retiring spots earlier while we were in London, we were looking for more than palm trees. We were looking for connection. We were looking for culture. We were looking for a lot of things. So these are the top 5 international trips. Top 5 international destinations for Black and brown people to retire to. So number 1 is Ghana. As we all know, Ghana had a welcome back or welcome home type of deal. So that was 1. Next, we have Portugal, which I was looking at, Lisbon, Portugal. Next is Costa Rica. After that is Spain and Mexico and Panama bringing up the rear. And I do have my man Ivra, who, recently, him and his family, and if you don't know, Ivra's Black, him and his family just recently had a trip. Now, Ivra,
yes.
Let me tell you, my client population, so I just work with men, right?
Correct.
So primarily I work with men. My client population, just recently, I had one divorced male who travels by himself. He just got back from Dubai or somewhere else. Second, I have another client of mine who, another male, he just took him and his family to Iceland, right? And so that the concept of international trips is something that for Black and brown people, at least from my client population, is something that's growing. Now, you also just recently came back from an international trip and you went to Panama. So when you think about this idea, and you got the hat, and if you're watching on Facebook Live, on any of the streaming, you see his hat. What's your thoughts on this concept of travel and everything that's going on?
It's important. I think that for me, the experience of going to Panama, going to a place where I knew very little about before I got there, and then doing the research as we were there and traveling to different parts of the country and understanding the connection with the African diaspora, it became the trip of a lifetime for me. And understanding that the cost of living there is less, and understanding that I don't have to retire with $2 million to live well in Panama.
Right.
It became more important to me to plan the next trip. And everything that you said in the intro applies to me and to our situation. And so we got to get the first step is get the passport.
Right.
Those passport numbers just have to increase.
What's crazy is you went to Detroit to get your passport because you had to go renew, and and in Detroit, I didn't know this. You can do a 1-day passport renewal. Is that about right?
So we went to Buffalo because it was
Buffalo.
It had so you can go to Detroit.
Okay.
You can't go to Buffalo, and there are other places around the country, but there is the ability to go get your same day renewal if your plane is booked or if your travel is booked.
Right.
I think it's within 2 weeks.
Okay.
And so it adds a level of stress to what's going on if you wait so long. However, understand that you can make your appointment, and a lot of times you can make an appointment today for the next day. And so you just have to, you have to do a little bit of planning, but
yeah, that's what I was going to say. But this idea that only 43%, is that right? Did I say that right? Let me see. Let me go back. 34%. I'm sorry. 34% of Black and brown individuals, have their passport. Now, I have to be honest. I didn't have my passport until I was an adult, but my kids have their passports, and my kids have gone to they've had at least 3 international trips, 3 to 4, maybe.
So we've taken our kids to Canada quite a few times, and that is what we have to remember. They seem so close, and for those of us who live in these border states, the other border, across the Midwest and the West Coast, Canada is another destination that we should explore. And you talk Toronto's an amazing,
it's a great city. I've yet to be there, but everything that I've heard about Toronto is that it's an amazing city.
Amazing city. I took my daughter for spring break. It was a daddy-daughter trip a few years ago, I think 2017, 2018. And it was amazing. Like just seeing how other people move, how other countries move, even dealing with the currency exchange is something, it's a challenge. It can be a challenge. It can be fun. I would say use your debit card and tell your bank you're leaving because you get the best exchange rates.
Yeah.
But there are certain things, certain little secrets that you will start to find when you do your research, as I know that folks have started doing in this last several months.
So my desire to look somewhere else, or when I was in London, my desire was, I asked myself, what am I doing? Like, what did I do all this? Why did I go to school like this? What am I working for? And the first thing that popped in my head was, and oddly enough, my dad, because I was with my sister, and once I Chat GPT, through everything in Chat GPT, once I got everything, I was like, okay, Lisbon, Portugal, right? And I just so happened to say that out loud. My sister heard me and said, oh, Dad was just talking about moving to Lisbon, Portugal. Wow. And so when I searched, obviously it was. And so what I did is in Chat GPT, I put the amount of money, the length of time, and all of the things that I wanted, healthcare, close to, all that stuff. So I did all of that, and doing all of that provided me with a screenshot of all these countries. So it was Lisbon, it was Costa Rica, and South Africa also came up when I did mine based off of the criteria that I put in. What about you?
Let me just tell you, I ain't going nowhere but Panama when it's time to go. And the reason for me is the trip that I took in March.
Okay.
Was, again, I'll say it again, it was life-changing for me to get off of the airplane, and feel the way I felt immediately. And then to have that feeling of liberation and freedom confirmed every day I was there.
Okay.
I don't know that I will get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
The region of Cologne, which is the northwest corner of the canal, in the canal zone.
Yeah.
What I came to understand after the fact was that in 1895 or whenever they began to build the canal, there were so many Black folks from Jamaica, Barbados, so from the Caribbean, that migrated for work.
Right.
And Cologne is where they landed, essentially.
Right.
And it's kind of the recreation of being enslaved, where the Caribbean was kind of a landing spot.
Right.
Cologne was basically the spot that people came and they just stayed there. Black folks came,
just remained,
stayed there, and now the Cologne region is rich in African history. It's rich in African culture. And when you begin to understand that there should be, and there is a connection that we share with the Panamanians, then you have another aspect of your past that you can connect with in 2025.
I do like the been to Jamaica, been to Dominican, and been to London. And what I do enjoy is the connection. So when most like I think I'm gonna be real with you, in certain areas, your skin color depicts the amount of appreciation you may get. I 100% like in Dominican, my skin color or my skin tone, was pretty much neutral. But in Jamaica, I definitely noticed that me walking with my wife, who's a darker skin, than I am, got more kudos, when I was walking by myself. Now, it could also be because she's a woman and she's fine. But I also noticed the access in that idea.
Nice.
Because
she's nice.
Yeah, and she's nice. The idea of whiteness, always comes up no matter where I go. The connection or the correlation of whiteness in travel and what colonial, colonizing, has done to the Black and brown idea of beauty.
Well, let's not forget about or not understand the fact that in those areas in Jamaica, Barbados, Haiti, when you show up with the melanin, you are welcome. And that's a feeling that we don't get to experience until we remove ourselves from this failing experiment called America, right?
which is less than 300 years old. Don't forget it. So
your mind just
remember when we're looking at this idea that we have all the answers to everybody's problem, we are just less than 300 years old. Now, mind you, slavery or the enslavement of Black and brown people lasted for 4, which was before the actual country was established. That's why when people say that the blood of America is the blood of slavery and all this other stuff. So you can't really take it out.
Don't get it twisted.
Right. Don't get it twisted.
Please.
But with that said, we're only, less than 300 years old, which means that's like the way I put it with with a client that I had that was talking about Iceland. That's like me, listening to my children and my children truly believe that they know everything because
I went around the corner to the store.
Right, because they've been around the corner to the store. They know everything. And I think, us as Americans, we need to realize we're not that old. Right. And, and before we jump on the break, when I got back, and I'm pointing behind me, when I got back, Brother Chris Styles, I had a talk with him. And this brother has been to like over 15 countries.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because other countries will be like, I got socks older than America.
Right. This chair, there's a Baroque chair that is older than America in England. Crazy. Right.
I mean, I'm sure for sure buildings.
Right.
Cleveland, we're proud about some of our houses built in 1895 that still stand. Come on now.
There's Joy and I was laughing about something, this concept of post-colonialism. They're like, we were watching a home improvement show, and each thing that this woman said or this family said is, I want something post-colonial. But like every last one of them, I don't even know what that means. But at any case, we're gonna take our quick break, and we're going to do our midday
Let's do it.
Emotion break. But this time is going to be a little different. So this time we're going to actually use a song that is international and sparked international glory, so to speak. So if I feel as though it's needed today. So we're going to take a quick break, and I want everybody just to get up and shake a little bit. And if anybody did the TikTok, the Don't Rush TikTok, this. So we'll come back on the other side and start this program. This is Unapologetic with Eric King on WOVU 95.9 FM. Welcome back. Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM. I'm your host, Eric King. So we didn't really give the whole rundown of the show. So we do have my brother, Tierney Bates, that is going to jump on, in about 20 minutes around 12:45, and he's going to provide us with some insight and all that other good stuff. So you can, if you like, go to our Heart Radio if you got to get up out the car, or you can go to wovu.org and plug in. If you're a fan of this show, you can go to Facebook, Unapologetic with Eric, Unapologetic on YouTube, and Talk to E King on IG. All right. So I want to get back into this idea of international travel. And like I said, when I got back, I was talking to Chris Styles, and he was talking about the amount of, things that he has seen. And, first thing he said is, Eric, it looked like you caught the bug. And I guess I did.
Yes.
I caught the bug.
So did I.
So we've seen a recent explosion in Black travel. The basics or the easy optics is what's going on in our country today. I don't want to gloss over that, but I also believe it's a cultural aspect because of what's happening in our country today, and the idea that we don't matter in the way that, it has been expressed.
Man, it's so important for us to recognize the fact that everywhere else in this world, the respect for Black folks is different from what you get when you wake up and walk outside of your own doors.
Right.
And when we talk about some of the articles written on travel and how it affects the brain and how it affects your emotions and how it just affects your person, we need to understand how much of a benefit we receive in not just, hey, I had a good time, I drank a lot of tequila, whatever,
I had a lot of tequila. I got
fun.
you.
I had a great, we danced and I learned. No, but the benefits, the lasting benefits. And this weekend, so we've got a reunion of sorts coming this weekend to Cleveland from our family in Alabama and Virginia. And shout out to Marcus, who's texting me right now telling me I need to visit Tulum in Mexico. Tulum in Mexico. And one of the things that I know about Mexico is that there are pockets in Mexico where Black folks are there. And so we just need to recognize and understand that there's so many more benefits that we don't realize happen based on travel.
This is the other thing. So let's talk about European travel.
Yes.
Okay. So I found on Facebook a group called Black in Portugal.
Okay.
Right. So once we got back, we talked, like I said, Joy and I talked about Lisbon, talked about moving to Lisbon. And so we found a group called Black in Portugal. Right. And initially all I saw were Black women. And I was like, where are the families? Where later on, Joy was like,
gonna work for me, dog.
Right. Later on, Joy was like, oh, there are families here. I was like, oh, okay, cool. With that said, this idea of international travel and going back to locations that contributed to the actual slave trade. It's kind of interesting. What's your thoughts on, because we got Ghana, we got a couple South Africa, couple African countries, or even Hispanic or Latinx or Afro-Latina countries that are also saying you can come back here, too. What's your thoughts on us spending our money in a place that was a part of or profit or why we are here?
So Portugal to me is very difficult, understanding that they are the creators of race and the falsehood that is race. But at the same time, and I didn't realize, and I should have, I didn't realize that there were, expat groups in Portugal, and just like the same way in Panama, same way in Costa Rica. And I would imagine that there are expat groups in any place that has a welcome feeling. And I think that's something that needs to explore. And just as we're sitting here, I'm like, to be completely honest, when I got here, I'm like, ain't no way I'm trying. I ain't going nowhere in Europe. But sitting in this, the last 25 minutes of our conversation, I'm like, okay, you know what? My wife and I had talked about Portugal as a possibility. And I'm like, I ain't going to Europe because Europe is full of not Black folks.
Right.
And but being open
Mm-hmm.
and opening your mind to different possibilities. So
Yeah.
on one hand, it would be difficult, but on the other hand, to find and connect with other folks within the diaspora. And that is a word that we need to integrate into our vocabulary.
Right.
In the diaspora. Not that we have to be a monolith, but understanding that we could have allies in places that we didn't expect.
This is my struggle. So when I put it in to search, I said 10 years from now, right? So 60 for me. I did 10 years from now, and I put a piece of money. What I learned later on was that there was another place, and I can't think of the name of it, that was similar. But what happened once they got too many quote unquote Black and brown people,
they cut it off.
They cut off. Right. They began to discourage. And so that's the part that once I had a discussion with another friend of mine who travels, and he was like, yeah, there was another place that was similar to that, because Lisbon is the hot spot right now. That's similar to that. But once they got too many Black and brown folks, or in other words, Americanized Black and brown folks, they began to, close things down and shut down the borders.
Because they understand that we are culture.
We'll go back to the Americanized part.
They understand that, but we are culture. We are culture, not we create.
We are culture. I'm 100% with you.
We are culture.
Go back to that Americanized part, because this is what's interesting. Carnival Cruise Line has just, passed the edict to where, there's certain things that cannot be done on their cruise line.
Okay.
If you've been on social media and you've seen these Carnival cruises, right? I haven't been on a Carnival cruise in almost 20 years.
Okay.
It's totally different than when I was on there. And so I guess what's happening is because of, how people are acting, quote unquote, acting on there, they are, past these, rules. These rules, for the most part, affect the Black Americans that attend these and go on it. So no twerking, no shuffle slide. I think it's a whole list of it.
It reminds me of when Tiger Woods blasted people on the PGA. They started changing the courses.
Yeah, changing
the same thing, right?
So they moved. It's a movement of the goalposts, is what I hear.
It's the same thing.
So,
truth be told, I won't be on no cruise ships anytime soon, just because that's not how I enjoy travel.
Yeah.
I enjoy boots on the ground in places. Man, I got a boat. I can go on Lake Erie.
Yeah. You do have a boat. One of the few Black men, right, that have a boat. And you can swim, right?
Shout out to IYC.
I was just about to say that.
Downtown Cleveland.
Yeah. So let's go back to retirement.
Okay.
When Joy and I looked at it, the very first thing that she looked at, I looked at culture.
Okay.
I looked at culture. I looked at money. I looked at culture. I looked at money. I looked at, those items. Yeah. What she looked at was healthcare.
Okay.
And when her and I was talking back and forth, I was like, okay, well, wait a minute. If we're looking at healthcare, and if we're looking at this idea of what healthcare has, I have to be honest with you. Lisbon had the highest, most, 5-star hotel.
The best, yeah.
I'm sorry, hotel. Hospitals, healthcare.
Yeah.
So some of these other areas, they just would not be, I guess, feasible.
They're not
or
viable options. Yeah.
The other part is, it's really expensive to die slowly in America.
It is. And I will tell you one thing that I know for sure and for certain, and that is once you get outside of our borders and you consume food that is meant to be consumed versus consuming the chemicals that were not meant to be consumed, that will improve your health immensely.
The other part is, I don't think that Black folks know that there's this thing called healthcare vacations or healthcare trips. What they do is, you have an ailment, right? You go to Cleveland Clinic, you go to United University Hospitals, you get a diagnosis, and you say, okay, where can I go get this treated, right, at a cheaper rate?
Yeah.
And they have these trips that people go on. Now, if you don't have a passport, if you're a part of, if you're part of the, what is that, 64% or 66% of Americans, I think I said that, I did that right.
34, 66, right.
Yeah. Percent of Americans that don't have a passport, you can't benefit. So you're stuck in America, not only with the food, you're also stuck with the healthcare. What's your thoughts on that?
So one of the things that I know, and I'm going to go back to Panama because that's my place.
Mhm.
However, but it is a place that you can get stem cell treatment done.
And a lot of people don't know was because back 20 years ago or 30 years ago, stem cells got during the first Bush administration, it got pretty much, cut out. Now they're advertising knee replacement and adding stem cells. But go ahead.
Yeah, no,
at a higher cost.
That's one of the places that you can go to get stem cell work done, and understanding that going and ingratiating yourself into a healthcare system also means eating. You don't necessarily have to completely change how you exist and how you eat, but understand that the food that you get will be food. You will get a watermelon that has seeds, because watermelons were meant to have seeds. And I don't know if I've noticed that
for
too.
real. No, I got it.
I've noticed that too recently. I'm like,
there's a lot of stuff that don't have seeds by virtue of. I grew up too. Right. Go ahead. What you're about to say. And grapes. Don't forget grapes.
Grapes too. Oh my.
That was the fun part. Spitting the grape seeds. Go ahead.
Grow up spitting out the seeds, man. And we just have to. We have to open some books and put down the social media after our show.
Right. After this show.
And pick up a book about just how things are in other places, how food is in other places. It was funny. When we got to Panama, I bought my kids Coke, and I don't let them drink pop, but I bought my kids Coke purposely. And my 9-year-old, I'm like, I said, baby girl, read the ingredients.
It's totally different.
4 caramel, carbonated water, cane sugar, and I forget. 4 ingredients.
I'm not done yet. You're not done yet. This is the crazy part. Joy had a Sprite in London, read the ingredients, took a picture of the ingredients.
I need to see the picture.
Right? I don't even know if she kept it because she just cleared out her phone. Came back to America, had the same company, Sprite.
Yes.
Totally different ingredients.
Yes.
So when you hear someone talk about how the food is actually killing us, you have to. So the healthcare part of retirement is something that is very vital.
Yes.
With that said, if you choose to remain and retire in America, just know that you have to change your diet.
Yes.
Or
that will be a short retirement.
It's a short retirement. So let me reset. This is Unapologetic with Eric King on WOVU 95.9 FM. I got my co-host, Ivra. We're talking about, going beyond our backyard. All right. So next question. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't ask you. You said culture was your reason for transitioning. Mine was culture and healthcare. Is that right? What was your wife's? If and when she was considering it.
It was more of, for her, it was kind of the full Monty, the full picture. And I was just like, Panama is Latin America. It's a little bit closer,
right?
And they got black folks, so I was like, I'm down. But for her, it was more of the.
I'm done.
For her, it was the full picture of healthcare. She's diabetic,
right?
The cost of living,
right?
Like my wife could, if she so chose, she could walk out of work today, go down there and be a full citizen.
Yeah.
In a matter of weeks.
Yeah.
Because, in Panama, you have a $2,000 requirement monthly income.
Yep.
So if for instance, if you so chose, I could help you get an annuity, because that's what I do. I could get you into that annuity.
Get that annuity, baby.
Then pays you $2,000 a month. You go down there. So a scenario, you have an annuity, pays you $2,000 a month. You buy an $85,000 condo.
Yep.
3-bedroom, 2-bathroom on the 35th floor in the San Francisco neighborhood of Panama City.
Yep.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
That is kind of what we did.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
Trips. And you live your life and enjoy your life. And then you start thinking about eating better, because you can go down to the bodega at the corner and get fresh fruit.
That's what I love, man.
Or you can cruise along for a little while and see a dude on the side of the road that has a fruit stand that he pulled from his garden or whatever the case. So
what I enjoyed was that concept because my sister stayed around the corner. I think it's called Brexton. She stayed around the corner from this place called the Village, and the Village opened up at 9 o'clock, and they bring all of the fresh items, right? So they had the fish, they had everything, the fruits and stuff like that, and you can go every day and buy something fresh in the
Yes,
Village
that's what they
that
do.
is not related to your refrigerator.
So your refrigerator
It's
is
smaller.
tiny.
Her refrigerator is about, if anybody was in the studio, they can see we have small panels like around the room.
Right.
Her refrigerator was the size of the
Or
panels.
think about the ones you had in college.
Yeah.
That's
Same
essentially
difference. Same
what you
difference.
get.
She had, and there was no TV on it. It was no right. It just opened up. It kept everything cold,
Right.
and it had a light. So this idea,
And it had a light.
domestic travel has, for years been a problem for Black and brown people, to the point to where we needed to have what's called a green book.
Yes.
Now, aside from the movie, there was this thing called green book, and if you research it, it was places to go that you were welcome. And so when you did domestic travel or road trips or anything of that nature, you would consult the green book,
Yeah.
and that's where you would know where to be.
Yeah.
Parma, as you stated when we were talking, was not a friendly place to Black and brown people.
I still don't like Parma.
Inside of the green book. And if you go and you understand the history of Parma, even to this day, you can still feel this idea of dislike or not wanting to be.
There's places. I worked in Central Illinois as a young man when I was in television, and Pekin, Illinois was a place very similar. Harsh, actually more harsh than I would say Parma is. But and I would say too, today, if you aren't ready for international travel, one of the things that I used to do is I would just take a Friday off once a month and take a mental health day. And
you know what they call them, right? The Friday to Monday.
What is it?
They call them ghetto holidays.
Well,
that's what they call them.
I take my
ghetto vacation.
I take my little quick ghetto vacation and do that. Find places that are driving distance within, the Googles are free. Go to there's so many ways. Go to the library and search, destinations 100-mile radius. I'm on the board for the County Board of Tourism in Geauga County, and there's an immense amount of things. Like, you could go and take your hour drive from whatever part of Cleveland you're in out to Geauga County. It's mostly friendly. And have a good day. See stuff going on with Amish folks or whatever the case may be.
I enjoy the Amish
just
country.
Fine.
The food is good there too.
Is great.
Man. So, because we gotta get through this. We gotta sound at some point empowering.
I got the
or positively. So traveling and wellness, to go back to you, or to bring that topic up. What I've noticed is when I travel to different locations, I feel better about me, and I also feel better about where I live and how I choose to raise my children. So my mental health is better, my physical health is better, and my spiritual health is better. What's your thoughts on this concept of wellness and travel, domestically or internationally?
Well, think about how many of us have a trip coming up and I gotta lose 10 pounds, or whatever the case may be. How we will change what we do, how we move.
We got to get that summer body.
We got to get that hot girl summer body, whatever. But think about that, how you change and to get prepared, and then when you come back, how good you feel for weeks and weeks. And that was a thing for me coming back from Panama, and I'm like, okay, before I truly go bananas about this place, I need to give myself, and I told my therapist, Dr. Tiff, I'm like,
shout out Dr.
Tiff. Myself, love that lady. I'm gonna give myself a month and see if I still feel the same.
Right.
It's been 3, and I do. So we understand that,
right,
man. You can make a trip, you can have a trip, and I want this for every Black person in America. Is to have a travel experience that changes your life.
Yeah. Because that's the
And
thing.
that's amazing.
That's the thing. For me, it was Jamaica.
Okay.
When I went to Jamaica, it was interesting. We went for our anniversary, Joy and I's anniversary. So we was off season.
Okay.
A couple things that stood out. One, we were the few Black people there during that time
On a resort.
on that resort,
Okay.
on that specific resort. Our age, because we got there like on like a Tuesday or Wednesday. We were the youngest
I was
people
gonna
on the
say I was gonna say you were the youngest.
we were the youngest people there.
Okay.
Third thing that was interesting, the food for the resort was based off of the palate of the non-Black people.
Ooh.
And we had to go down the beach.
Ooh.
Joy and I had to go down the beach to find
some spice.
some spice. And shout out to Kiki. Now I may never see Kiki ever again.
We love you,
Kiki is a beautiful Jamaican woman who has a restaurant right on the beach, in between two resorts.
Lord have mercy.
And every day I would get up, I would walk the beach,
Okay.
and I would wait for Kiki, and I would go and I would have for breakfast or lunch, I would have a what would I have? I would have a lobster that was picked from the ocean just then.
So,
They would chop it up. They would throw eggs in it and their spices, and I would have a red stripe.
so he was like, Kiki, open up. Open up, Kiki.
I had a red stripe. So that was my life-changing moment in travel.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it made me, when I came back, it made me view things different. Now, it was interesting. The London trip, when I came back, made me look at my business different.
Okay.
I looked at my business as an asset, not a destination anymore.
Yes, sir.
And so
Yes,
the
sir.
thought process was the business is there to fund my travel later,
Yes.
not to live my life now.
Yes.
But go ahead.
No, man. So that's you and I haven't even talked about that
Yeah.
aspect of it, because I've decided that
Mhm.
my however many years of working like this, man, this is it. This is like I am figuring out a way to
Mhm.
get to that $2,000 point
Yeah.
monthly
Yeah.
passive income.
And if you calculate that, so 2000, because we're always talking about this on IG, like, oh, just make this and do this and do this.
Yeah.
So 2000 monthly, 12, that's just 24,000 a year.
Yes. So my own personal
Yeah.
goal, and I love sharing this with folks.
Mhm.
My own personal goal is to acquire a home in
Mhm.
either the David region, so that's
Right.
Western Panama Mountain, a little bit cooler, or Panama City,
Mhm.
in a region where there's a good number of expats.
Mhm.
Have that home that's mostly paid off,
Yeah.
and have that $2,000 of lifetime income.
Mhm.
And then I understand that it won't be a necessity to have the blood pressure medicine and to have the cholesterol and whatever
The
the
metformin.
case.
You're
Yeah.
gonna pay though. That's
Yeah,
so that's the
and it's
part that I
okay.
need people to understand.
But you're not paying property taxes.
Yeah.
You're not paying.
But no. That's not the part that
income
I'm saying
taxes.
is I need people to understand this. You're going to pay for your existence.
Right.
If you stay in America, if you stay in your four corners, right? Because
Right.
there's a four corners theory.
Right.
Most people, don't necessarily want to leave where they are
Sure.
because they get everything within their four corners, right? And it's really big in New York or Chicago where things are
You
right
don't
there.
even have to drive nowhere.
Right. The point of what I'm saying is you're going to pay anyway.
Right.
You're going to pay in healthcare. You're going to pay in some form or fashion. So if you're looking at money, you're looking at it wrong.
Right.
Money
Well,
is the tool.
And think about this. If you own a house in America, you
Mhm.
you pay property taxes.
Yep.
You pay income taxes.
All that.
You pay taxes to your city, your state,
Mm-hmm.
and then to Rita, whoever she is, because she's a mean lady.
Rita be getting it all, don't
be
she?
getting in
Man,
your
she be
pockets.
getting all.
And then you pay sales tax,
Mhm.
and then you pay property.
Mhm.
Like there are so many ways that people think, oh, I don't want to live over there. They charge you for
They
your
do
health.
this.
They charge
they do
you for
that.
this.
Right.
Man, we are used to these evils,
Right.
and we make them normal.
Mhm.
But and that's another thing, that when you travel, you understand. And one of the things that I've learned many, many years ago is that most people, wherever they are
Mhm.
on this rock called Earth,
Mhm.
want one thing, and that is to raise their family
Mhm.
as effectively as possible.
Yeah, happiness.
Happiness.
So we got to take a quick break, and on the other side, we're gonna bring in my brother T Bates, and then we're gonna close out this conversation. So we have been talking about Black travel, right?
Love it.
So international travel, domestic travel. So we're gonna come back on the other side. This is Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM. There you go. Welcome back, Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM. And I'm going to bring in the one, the only, Tyranny Money Makem PhD Bates, Dr. Bates. And he visits us every second Wednesday of the month and giving us some nuggets and what's going on. So today, Dr. Bates, we were talking about Black travel, domestic and international. So what nuggets do you have for us during this time?
I think it's an exciting time to talk about Black travel because the simple fact of, number one, what I want the listeners to think about is exposure. Many people grow up and don't leave their zip code. We're both from Cleveland,
Yeah.
And there's people that have never left the 216, right?
Right.
They ain't even been down to the 614, right? So it's important for us to understand that right now, as Black folks are growing in their professions, as society is growing as a whole, that leisure and travel has been a big thing. If you see what content producers are producing. So one is exposure. So we should be exposing our kids to travel. My daughter's been to Disney. She's been everywhere. She's even been to Vancouver, in Canada, all this other great stuff. So how are we exposing our own kids and ourselves to different cultures and foods? So examples would be cruise lines, the Tom Joyner cruise. They have this festival in Virginia every year called the Black Family Reunion. That's really huge as far as that's concerned. You've got so many places. People are going to London now. People are going over to Paris. People are going to Ghana. So that travel exposure lets you realize that not everything we see in our own little 8-block, so many mile area is not just what's going on. And the worldviews are so different. The experiences are so different when we go to these places. I personally want to go to Japan and Greece for my next trips. I travel a lot domestically. My goal is to step foot in all 50 states, and I've hit about 25 of them overall. So it's important for us to understand that number one is exposure. Number two, we realize that from an economic standpoint, we have the money to do things that our forefathers couldn't. And so that's why it's our duty to make sure that we have an impact with our dollars and where they go around Black traveling. You've got Black Ski Weekend as far as that's concerned. I'm seeing more golf outing trips now as well. So we got to understand that the economic impact that we bring as a culture is so huge. Our dollars make sense and have an impact. And we get to actually fund those dollars towards content creators, those who are putting on these festivals, and those individuals who are creating something for our culture. So that's important for us to think about that whether it's domestically or internationally. So if you don't follow this group, there's a group called Travel Divas. Travel Divas is a woman group.
It would be related to women, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's a women's group. They put on every month probably a international trip. On the average year, they're putting anywhere from nearly 20 to 30 international trips. The ladies have actually quit their job and actually just created this whole organization called Travel Divas. They do have couples trips as well now because it ain't just for the sisters to travel. But you think about that. That's impactful, right? And we got to support Travel Divas as an organization and those others who are creating these contents. My man Jerome Davis out of Atlanta also does all these Black weekend type of events to get away for couples, whatever it may be overall. And third, when we think about it, everybody remembers the Green Book. Remember the movie, The Green Book?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Exactly. So when we traveled, especially when we traveled in these good southern states where I live, we couldn't go everywhere. Well, now's the time we can go where we want, use our dollars where we want as far as that's concerned. But here's the key that I always tell people. When you do travel, still try to go and support a Black-owned business, whether that's a restaurant,
no matter what it is.
Whatever it is, let's go support these businesses where we go to travel. A beautiful place that I'm going to plug that everybody should go and visit is Savannah, Georgia. You've got the feel of a small town, but it has a nightlife. It has a beach near it. It is a perfect kill all birds with one stone type of vacation where you can see the elegance of the South, but at the same time get good food. You can see art, culture. It has a nightlife. The Peacock Lounge is one of the best places I've ever been to in Savannah, Georgia. And then you literally just go about 8-10 miles away. You have the Tybee Island beaches. So when you think about traveling, think about what your domestic travel looks like. And then I'm going to challenge everyone to get out and go, one, visit the motherland, but also travel around the world, because we are everywhere. We are everywhere as a people.
Bruh, let me tell you, I've been someplace, and to see the Jamaican festival that was in London when we were there, and just all of the Jamaicans and the black folks and us together, just getting together, it was amazing. But go ahead.
No, think about Caravana in Toronto.
Yeah,
Caravana's the same way, right?
That's true.
So you've got all these unique opportunities, all these unique places you can go. And I'm challenging people to get out there. We just had Essence Festival. I know Essence Festival is going through its little drama right now. It's lost its star power in some regard. But at the same time, it was for us, by us, and put on to actually help us entertain. I know they want Beyonce to come, but they had Megan Thee Stallion. I get it. The culture has shifted and changed overall. But it's important for us to understand that impact we have. And when we go domestically or international, how important that is. Another place people sleep on, Panama.
Well, that actually Ivra just was talking about Panama. So yeah, so he gave us all the rundown on Panama.
Yes, Panama. I think if you Black, Panama's that one country when you walk in, you see everything. You see Black, Latino, Afro-Latina. Like, it is a place of welcoming. The waters, the mountains, everything you see around a place like Panama is so breathtaking and engaging. The people are friendly, all this other great stuff. So again, we got places.
Well, wait! You can't see Ivra. Ivra has been since we started this program today. He has been touting Panama. You know, so I get it. Hey, so we got to wrap this up, man.
I'm gonna tell all my single brothers to listen. Go to Panama.
Yes, sir.
I know y'all trying to creep over to the DR.
Trying to go to Brazil.
Brazil, but I'm trying to tell you, go to Panama.
All right. So that is Tierney Bates, Dr. Tierney Bates.
I need to give Mr. Tierney offline.
Yeah. Tell them how to reach you, T.
Sure, you can reach me at Instagram at tbates1914. You can Google me at TIERNEY Bates, Tierney Bates. You can find all my channels that in contact with me. But again, as I leave today, I want to leave you with 1, exposure to our economic impact, and 3, making sure that you realize the culture of us and this Black diaspora is all over the world.
All right, that is T Bates, T Money Bates, as we used to call him. He actually was the person that got me started on the radio back in college. T, I appreciate you, man. Love you, man.
Love you too, man. You gotta take care, because guess what? I'm going on my trip next week. Holla.
Peace, man. That was Tierney Bates, and giving us, he visits us every second Wednesday of the month, giving us a little bit from the community, culture, or whatever. So let's switch. And what I want to do is, in this last, 6 or so minutes, this is something serious that I would like to talk about.
Okay, let's go.
When it comes to travel, you and I have a means to go about traveling. We have a two income household. We have a bit of assets. When I'm having this conversation, or when you and I are having this conversation, we can't forget about the individuals that are not actually connected or gotten to the point economically of where we are.
Yeah, the resources.
The resources. What is, if you can give them something, what are your thoughts on that? Because I have something that I would like to give. It's both a dig, so to speak, as well as an encouragement.
Well, one of the things that I realized recently is that you can get language learning software at the library for free. Mm-hmm. Do we need to repeat that? Yeah,
you get language learning software at the library.
And that will, having knowledge of a different language is a level of motivation in and of itself. Mm-hmm. Because at that point you have a connection to just however many places speak that language. And I mean, obviously the easy one is Spanish. Right. That allows you to go to dozens of different languages. And even Brazil and Portugal that speak Portuguese, if you're relatively fluent in Spanish, you can communicate to Portuguese. I've witnessed conversations. I've actually watched 2 dudes speak 2 different languages and understand each other.
Understand one another.
And so that, to me, is the place that you can begin your exposure, because the mind we'll figure out a way.
So this is what I have to say. So first, we spend money on things that we care about.
Yes.
And I say that to say is the Black and brown individuals, we spend the most. We're the highest consumers.
Yes.
What I need for those individuals that are on their way, or first you have a mindset of international travel or travel period.
Yeah.
You first have a mindset. That next what comes from the mindset is the idea of what do I do with $1? Yes. I have $1, I put 10 cents for travel, and I got 90 cents for everything else. Is it going to take time? Yes, because delayed gratification is a problem in our society today. Yes. Third, once you get up to a level of a simple passport, which is less than $50, right?
Passports are expensive.
How much are they now?
I can't remember what I think it's like 100. It's about 200, between 100 and 200.
Okay. Like once you get, and I apologize for being incorrect. Once you get to a point of having a passport, what I suggest on that fourth is just, travel, especially if you're in Ohio, travel somewhere that you can reach, Canada. If you can make it to Texas and drive over the border, so to speak. What I would like to impress is that anything that we buy with our dollars and our cents is based on our mindset and what we see as important.
Right.
If you are an individual who is making your way into the world and you're just starting, what I suggest is go from Ohio to North Carolina to, places that we've talked about domestically. You always start domestically first. Yep. And that even starts your mindset in changing to what's the next thing that I can do or next place that I can go. So I know we only got a little while, and most of what I'm saying is more of a high economics from a lower level or from a level of growth. I didn't have this money 20 years ago. Right. I didn't have this money, whatever. And I can't tell you how often that I took road trip to the point that I just said, I'm done driving. And so I had to change my mindset. But go ahead. We got about 30 seconds.
And being in Cleveland, we can go to Canada. You can go with your driver's license.
Go to Put in Bay.
Yeah.
And
go around Detroit, right. Go around Niagara Falls.
Right.
You can go with your driver's license. You might get hung up at customs, as we experienced on our most recent trip a couple of weeks ago with my uncle. But make that trip, man.
Okay.
Make that trip.
Because
it's doable and it's not that expensive.
I recognize that there are times that I speak from my economic status that can come across as elitism.
Yes.
And I recognize that. I also can recognize that it took a mindset shift, even at this level of whatever economic attainment, for me to even be okay with international travel. Because the first thing that popped in my head is, that's too much money. Or what about this bill? Or what about that bill? So it's a mindset shift. Yeah. And once you get to a mindset shift, because there are people that make similar or equal amount of money that don't have a passport. So that's all I got.
Make it a priority.
Yeah.
And it'll change your life.